Hello everyone, Bashar here. So we have another solo uh, video for you. Solo design champion build for you. Yeah, I found the right word. So let's take a look into it. This time around I will go the other way around and start with the run immediately. So we have Gnishak, as you can see, you know, soloing. And surprisingly enough, guys, this wave is the most dangerous part of the run. Yeah, as you can see, these tires are somewhat dangerous because of the increased attack and increased defense buff being put up by, I believe, by Liburga. But yeah, we do have it covered. And one of the best things about this is, guys, so first of all, it's the hardest stage in the game, right? And a solo is very nice, so you get a lot of XP. And guys, also the duration, I would say, as you will be able to observe in a minute, is very good. Because guys, you might have seen the RX that does it in 45 seconds to a minute, right? A hard spider, but thing is, in spider there is just no trash, and we have two full waves of really powerful trash here. And as you can see, the duration will be something along the lines of 100 seconds, so 1 minute 40 seconds or so. And as you can see, the boss also goes very smoothly. So that's the first breath. So he generally should not be able to do the third breath or die just as it gets there. Now we have infinite poison stacked up. Second breath, and as you can see, he is not gonna be able to do the third. Right? And thing is, guys, in Dragon Solos, one of the things that kills you is that the fight goes too long, right? Especially with the stun that can happen. So he, draws his breath, he goes up, and if you can't do the purple amount of purple bar, then he comes down with the breath. And the thing is, when he comes down from the breath, he does a lot of damage, and more importantly, for the earlier breath, he does stun you, and that is irresistible, which means he is kind of shaving off one turn of cooldown from the next breath because he just stunned you. Right? There is that. So let's take a look at how it goes. And of course, this is pretty gear intensive, and again I am severely backed up by my live arena progress. As you can see, this one is good but not that impressive, but when we bring the live arena in, it goes pretty impressive. Approximately 91,000 HP, 4.8k defense, 287 speed, 460 resistance, and 400 accuracy, which is not required. It's overshoot. So that's about the stats we have. I have a 3-star soul. I would advise you to have a 3-star soul, right? So it's not, if you remember, if you've seen the Stultus video I did, with Stultus you need a 5 or a 6-star soul, right? Most likely 6. Because you need the help from the smite to be able to kill it. With Gnishak, I just suggest a 3-star soul because it will give you a nice amount of HP, attack and defense, which will all help, because guys, we basically will be killing the trash thanks to our attack, thanks to the bombs. On the boss it doesn't matter, so you don't have to go for any amount of attack specifically, but the more you can have the better. But obviously our priority would be on having a high amount of survivability and decent speed, resistance, and enough accuracy, and then whatever remains as the attack, whatever we can get as the attack, is going to be enough. But thanks to the blessing, the arena, the accidental attack stat on the stuff that we have, it adds up to being enough. So we are wearing obviously a regen set, and as you can see, I'm also utilizing the righteous set for the additional thing. And courtesy of Siege, we have one piece of feral. So this piece gives me a whopping amount of 76 accuracy, because one piece feral gives you 40 accuracy. That's great. Sadly, the crit damage is wasted there. That's a wasted roll. And that's 2 wasted rolls actually. But thankfully we are a mythical piece, so we have 3 meaningful rolls, so it's about okay. And the additional 40 accuracy does help. Because guys, for example, if I remove this piece, then my accuracy wouldn't be enough all of a sudden, right? I would have like 90% chance of debuffing, like 91% chance of debuffing, and now with this one it goes up to 97%. So we have Brimstone. You don't need to be, overly cautious and wear a blood shield accessory and do emergency heal. The guy can survive. Of course, guys, it will depend on your stats. I mean, if you are, like 10% squishier than I am, then maybe 20% squishier, then you would definitely need it. And Brimstone also helps a little bit against the trash and quite a lot against the boss, so that's good. Because the thing is, guys, on 3 stars Brimstone has only a 30% chance of working, right? But thing is, our A1 is a triple hitter and Brimstone works per hit, so there is a pretty nice chance of working. How much is it now? Let me try to calculate it for you. It's like 70% or something, 75% or something. I think something like that. Let me think about it again. No, 65% also. Yeah, that's more clear. So guys, every time Gnishak does A1, if Smite is not on cooldown, there is a 65% chance that you get a proc. And keep in mind, guys, Smite has an internal cooldown of 4 turns, which means if it has procced when you are killing the second trash wave, just as you are about to kill them, it cannot proc for 3 turns, right? Even if so it just basically gets turned off, right? It works and it gets turned off for 3 turns afterwards. So what do we have on Gnishak? Well, we have the A1 bombs, 50% chance of placing 3 bombs, right? So on average 1.5 bombs. We have the detonation cooldown reduction and poison duration extension, which is magnificent, one of the things, and also decrease attack, which is one of the things that make this thing work. And the A3 does 2 bombs on everyone and gets an extra turn. So what he does is you start off with this, then you reduce the detonation countdowns by 1 turn and put decrease attack, and so then they take the turn, the bombs explode in their faces. They have a lot of poisons in their face because of this passive. Every time a bomb expires, plus 2 poisons. So guys, you kill the trash with the bombs, but you kill the boss with the poisons, right? The bomb damage does not do anything against the boss, so attack is mostly used for the trash waves. So you could have about 1,000 attack and you just wouldn't care about it against the boss. So what are we wearing? We are wearing regen set. As you can see, it is all properly glyphed. But, well, I didn't go very hard at the speed glyph. Yeah, and everything is fully ascended. That kind of stuff is a little required, right? I mean, you are doing an end game location in solo. I could have rerolled this, but I felt like I could survive and I didn't. The dust and the powder are always scarce. And if it was someone else, I definitely would have rerolled. But for Gnishak, it does have meaning, right? It does make the trash faster, because as I said, in the trash we are doing most of our damage thanks to the bombs, right? I mean, if we include the aura, and if we include the double damage being dealt against targets about 200,000 HP, our bombs do something along the lines of 45,000 each. So we do 2 bombs, and the entire trash takes 90,000 damage. And we have this one, and finally this one. And as you can see, everything is fully ascended. I didn't do this because the accuracy is capped, and I'm very suffering for the powder, the dust. What's its name? The powder. Yeah, I have very little of those, and my accuracy is capped. So I could have rerolled it something that's more meaningful. Right? I could have rerolled it in the HP or defense or even attack. Right? or resistance. Anything that I roll it into is going to be more meaningful. But yeah, I think I'm set. So that's about it. The masteries are important, guys. So I did do interesting stuff. So because I have arena and live arena both cap, I have 160 accuracy as base, right? And the champion has 20 base, so I have 180 accuracy to start from, right? I mean, why? Even without anything, I have 180 accuracy base, and the amount that's required is something along the lines of 320, 330 or something. You always get some of the stats that you don't want. You get resistance on a damager, you get crit rate on a support, right? Because the items are not perfect, you get something. And now that also Feral is in the mix, I thought I would be able to handle accuracy without actually going for accuracy, because you can get some from the amulet, right? You will be getting some unwanted accuracy from the gear, and you glyph them and it would be enough. So that's why I went for the HP, right? This is useful in case the trash gives you a hard time, which happens in the first wave. You kill someone and it's out of the question, you can't die anymore. I mean, it can't be like the 5 guys soften you down and then can kill you before you could regen up. And of course, extra turn is an extremely useful feature for a solo champion, guys, because you just regen an extra 15% once every 3-4 turns, right? It's beautiful. This is very useful. We don't want the accuracy from the masteries. This is nice, right? This equates to 3% turn meter per debuff, expiration or removal, right? This is pretty good because we put a lot of bombs, poisons, right? A lot of stuff expires, so this gives us indirectly additional speed. This is of course pretty useful, and I went for this because there was just no good other candidate, so it could reduce the cooldown of our E3, giving us more healing. This is not a must, but there is just no other alternative. This one is of course extremely good. It increases the duration of our decreased attack and the poisons, which means a lot more damage. It does not extend the bombs. Don't be afraid there, right? They have thought about it. This one is a very big classic for all solo champions out there. And finally we have Oppressor, which is for more speed, right? Because we will always have 4 debuffs cast by us, right? It's very unlikely that we won't, even on the boss fight. So 10% turn meter fill rate, that's good. Combine it with this, and the live arena upgrades, it kinda adds up to like a 3-2 play rate against the boss. Right? We will be much faster than the boss if you observe. Again, I will run another time. And so the thing is, guys, if you have a solid champion, so this one provides you more damage reduction over time. But this one prevents bursting, right? Because, for example, guys, because this is a location that you will be farming thousands of times, right? It's Dragon. The trash could get lucky and inflict back-to-back crits, right? And there is also an increased attack buff in the first wave thanks to Liburga. You could have your decreased attack get resisted 3% of time. I know I'm creating outline scenario, but because we will be doing that place thousands of times, it could happen, right? So it would be in our interest to lower the amount of risk in that situation, because we should be able to handle the other situations. So that's why I went for this, right? 8%. And thing is, guys, the way this works is very nice. So AI control targets normally have 50% crit damage, which means if they would be dealing you 1000 damage, they would be dealing 1500 with the crit instead, right? And because this gives us 8% reduction, 8% of 1500 is 112, and so you will get hit for 1380, right? That's a nice amount of damage reduction. So basically the crit damage goes down to 38% instead of 50%. So this prevents the burst, and of course resistance is also useful. This is a very big classic. I think this is a very good mastery. Same with this. It's not very useful, but it is better than the alternatives. I would have gone for this if I had the connection, right? I would have liked the additional healing at low health, but And this is funny, guys. It only works in the second wave against the Cardinals. The Cardinals do heal, and you get healed a little bit. But there is nothing that can compete here. We do not do any buffs. We don't want any accuracy. As I said, this could have been an idea, but we just can't get here. This is a very classic mastery. It's beautiful, 6% damage reduction. And finally, there is this. This helps us get more procs on our smite, and also helps us place more bombs, which is nice. So the final stats are again here. So we need around 350 or 340 accuracy. 370 is capped, but 340, 50 should be fine. Resistance, I would say around 430 should be safe-ish. That would mean you would be getting debuffed 10% of the time by the dragon, right? So this one is not wasted at all, right? I would be getting debuffed like 5% of the time instead of 10. Speed, I would say about 280 after the live arena bonus. I think would be fine, because as I said, then you could do what I do, 24 from dead allies, 10% turn meter fill rate thanks to oppressor, debuffs expire 30% of time, you get 10% turn meter, and it all adds up to almost a 3-to-2 play rate. The HP and defense are of course the most important things alongside with speed. So this kind of translates to, I believe, around 470, 480k EHP, something like that. And you could go a little weaker, because mine looks solid, but not too much weaker. So 400k would be dangerous. If you are going to have like 400k EHP while preserving the rest of the stats, I might suggest that you change the blessing to maybe emergency heal and put up a shield ring here, so you could get healed a little. But of course that would increase the duration and make the boss fight a little riskier. Always a trade-off. So, and another nice and good thing is, guys, that we do not need an AI setup here, right? Because with other solo champions, we have Artak to solo hard ice golem 10 if you have the gear, or 9 or 5. Like those are more popular destinations, because 10 is extremely gear intensive. I mean, Artak needs an AI setup because I am pretty close to death, and that's why you can't be much squishy, right? You saw it did go down to like 30% or something. So Artak has a nasty habit of starting with the decreased attack to reduce the damage instead of starting with the HP burn. So you need a AI setup there. And with Arix, who can solo spider, you need an AI setup there, because you have to turn off the A3. It's not very useful. And with Gnishak you just don't, because he plays it correctly anyway. And as you can see, guys, the damage is pretty nice. But as you can see, guys, the most dangerous place of this is the first wave. And so the reason Artak is so extremely gear intensive is again the trash, right? These guys can handle the bosses, but they can't handle the trash. So the reason that Artak can't handle the trash is because there are 2 Santas in the first wave, and they are HP based. So Artak's decreased attack doesn't help you there. That's the problem, right? But thankfully in Dragon everyone is attack based, and so you just reduce the incoming damage literally by 50% against everyone in here, right? The Chagur, the Cardinal, the Venus, the Liburga. I'm not very sure if Liburga is actual, but I believe she is. Taya, right? They are all attack based, so when you put up that decreased attack, you reduce the incoming damage by 50%. And by the way, guys, I did this build yesterday. Yeah, in order to finish dungeon levels, I had to do a lot of runs. I am sitting on about something that's close to 150 runs, so it's about 130 rounds, but could be below 150 rounds. So, and it never failed. That was the point I was getting at. So you know, at least it has a win rate of above 99%, but it feels like to me, it will be 100% or like maybe 99.78% in the worst case. The first wave can go bad. So for example, guys, if you imagine all of those tires fully crit, right, and I missed the decrease stack on one of them, maybe then maybe I could die, but it would be extremely unlikely at this point, right? The 91k HP and 4.8k defense. So if you are going to build this kind of champion, guys, definitely be ready to use your best grips on them, and also what am I doing? And also prepare to fully ascend their gear, right? Maybe I would be rerolling this one at some point into something that's gonna help me a little more, because as I said, the accuracy is fully wasted. I am on 391 and 370 is capped, right? So 370 means you will be placing your debuffs 97% of time and you can't go above. Anyway, guys, that's it. And of course you can do a lesser version if you want, right? Maybe you could go, for example, for, let me see, you could go for a stage 7 solo, guys. So because stage 7 is blue and Gnishak is red, in stage 7 Gnishak will never be crit unless there are some champions that buff their crit chance there, right? And that would bring the amount of survivability that you need to bring down by a whole lot, right? And they will also, of course, be losing stats as well. They will be losing attack, right? The boss will be losing attack. The boss will be losing tons and tons of speed. I believe he would be something on like 175 speed or so on stage 7. On stage 10, he's 250. So, you could be, I would say, like 30-35% weaker than mine and succeed at stage 7. So if you have a Gnishak, guys, you can definitely do a stage 7 solo, right? I would say it wouldn't be out of the reach of anyone. And I will show you my live arena upgrades. I mean, you probably saw in there, but let me show you. So everything that's meaningful has been maxed. We have the HP, we have the defense, we have the speed, we have the resistance and accuracy all maxed out, right? I have a little bit of points in attack, so he would deal a little more damage, and that's it. So is this level of investment a must? It's not. But thing is, so for example, you don't have this, that would mean an additional 80 resistance that you have to get from your gear instead, right? And that would of course mean less survivability, right? Same with accuracy. And as you can see, my accuracy has been overshot a little. Maybe you could select a little there. And of course, if you have good regen gear lying around, you can let these go. I just like to these are very valuable champions, and you just set them once for life. So guys, I have a permanent stage 10 hard solo farmer, right? And I think they are worth the investment. So the way I'm going about live arena, these take me about 10 days each, right? 10-11 days. So there I have about 2 months of working here in this dragon upgrades. So yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I will try to answer, and I will see you on the stream. Bye bye.